What's up guys, Stark here. In today's character spotlight we are taking a look at William Shakespeare. So he was a character I was kinda talking about yesterday in Mozart's video, but today we're going to take a full look at him and go into a lot more detail about his character. So we're going to show you his artwork right now, and personally I hate his artwork. There's nothing like wrong with like the actual art or the drawing or anything like that. I just don't like what's happening in the picture. He's basically just like reading a book and there's some crazy demon thing coming out of it. I personally prefer his first and second artwork to his third and fourth artwork, but that's just my opinion. So he is a caster and he is a 2-star, so he would go up to level 65 and he will have 5,798 attack and 8,080 HP. So again, casters tend to have a little bit more HP than attack, and like he is a caster, so he will be effective against assassins and weak to riders. We definitely can't forget to mention that. That's pretty much it for his stats here. So we're just going to move ahead and talk about his servant skills. I don't really think this character is a character you really want to grail, so I'm not even going to talk too much about it. Anyway, his first skill is going to be called Enchant A, which will increase Buster card effectiveness of all allies for 1 turn. And this is a really good increase for Buster cards. So Mozart had the Quick card upgrade, and then Shakespeare has the Buster card upgrade. So it'll be a 20% increase at level 1 and then a 40% increase at level 10. So this is really nice. It is an AoE skill as well, so you can definitely stack this on right before you do a Buster attack or a Buster chain or any Buster type attack. You could go ahead and use this and then do that much more damage. His second skill is going to be called Self-Preservation B, which will apply Invincible on himself for 1 turn, and then it will restore his HP. So it'll restore 500 HP at level 1, goes up to 1500 HP at level 10, and he does have that invincible buff where he just can't be touched. So this is pretty cool. It definitely lets you keep him alive a little bit longer. Maybe get you to that next round where you can go ahead and use his skills and then get his normal Phantasm off or anything like that. Invincible is always a really nice skill to have. So moving on here to his third and final skill, it's going to be called the King's Men C, which will increase normal Phantasm gauge of an ally and increase critical star drop rates for 1 turn. So this is pretty nice. You can choose an ally and increase their normal Phantasm gauge. 20% level 1 goes up to, well, 20% level 10, which kind of sucks. It doesn't increase the gauge increase at all over the course of the upgrade. But the benefit of that is it does start at 20% level 1 as opposed to like 5% or 10%, and then gradually increases up to 20%. So, you know, it's give and take. It's not bad. 20% increase is really nice, and you get to choose who you use it on. It's not just a self buff, so that's always really good as well to push that character over the edge for their noble Phantasm. And then for the critical star drop rates, it's 50% level 1 goes up to 100% level 10, which is really nice. And again, you know, you can pick an ally and then get that increased drop rate for them as well. It is a strengthening quest though, so we will have to wait a little bit before we can get those. Moving on here to his class skill, it's going to be called the Territory Creation C skill, and this will increase art card effectiveness by 6%. So a little bit less than the previous video with Mozart, but this guy's not really as heavily geared towards a specific type as Mozart, so it's not really that big of a deal. But he is a caster, and I'm pretty sure most of the casters have that type of skill. Anyway, let's move on here to his Ascension materials. He does need a little bit here with the lanterns and the pages and homunculus babies and the serpent jewels. It does seem like a lot, but you know, you can just go ahead and use some of the event materials, items like that, to go ahead and max him out. I mean, he's not bad. Like, his skills are pretty solid, but you probably have better options, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend using these materials on him unless you really like him and you really have no one else to level up. Then by all means, go for it. Moving on here to his skill enhancements, and he does need a lot of pages for his skills, which is unfortunate because his skills are kind of good, but the drawback is you need the pages and the lanterns, and you do need a lot of jewels as well. So it does kind of suck, especially right now in global because we don't have the pages. So, you know, you're gonna have to really make a tough choice if you want to max this character's skills out, because Pages are tough to come by, and they're definitely more valuable used on other people than leveling up this guy's skills. But I'm not going to stop you from doing what you want to do. You guys make your own decisions. These videos are just here to kind of show you what you need and give you a quick little opinion of mine of how I feel about them. Anyway, moving on here to his craft essence, it's going to unlock the really convenient craft essence, which is a typewriter, which most people don't think is really that convenient, but I'm sure to Shakespeare it probably would have seemed like a miracle. Anyway, what it does is increase noble phantasm gain of all allies by 15% on the field, so it is a very generic craft essence, probably not something you will ever use, so I'm not really going to talk about it too much here. Moving on to his command cards and his noble phantasm, he does have 1 quick, 3 arts, and 1 buster, so you can throw him on an arts team or a buster team because he does have the his skill, which increases buster cards, and his noble phantasm is buster as well. And what it does, it'll deal heavy damage to all enemies, and then on the overcharge it has a low chance to inflict stun on them. So it's a pretty nice noble phantasm. It has a 30% chance at level 1 and then goes up to a 50% chance at level 5, which isn't really that high, which kind of sucks, but there is an interlude quest that you can do. No, it's actually a strengthening power-up quest that you can do, and that'll increase the damage a little bit, and then it'll also increase the chance rate from 40% at level 1 to 80% at level 5. So that makes it a little bit better. But still, it's not a 100% chance to stun, which I guess I don't know if anything actually has a 100% chance to do pretty much anything in the game. But 80% chance for an AoE stun is pretty solid, so chances are you'll hit at least one of the 3 enemies if you have a full wave. So moving on here to some of the craft essences you can use on this guy. You can use Kaleidoscope to get that noble phantasm ready, but it's not really recommended, not really ideal for him, because he has a lot of arts cards, and generally you want to use the arts cards to boost your noble phantasms, and he does have the skill that increases noble phantasm gauge as well. So you can probably get away with not using Kaleidoscope, and you could substitute that for either the quick or the arts or the buster card craft essences. So you could use projection for the 15% increase, or formal craft for the 25% increase, or for the busters you can use the verdant sound of destruction for the 15% increase, or limit 0 over for the 25% increase for buster cards. So that's pretty much going to wrap up this video here. I will leave you guys with his noble phantasm, and I will see you guys tomorrow.